There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw.
Black Star Sports TV here. I'm OG the Black Star. Hey, I wanted to do a quick video about these things that's going on nowadays with the killing of our brother Ahmaud Arbery. Things are going like it always goes when these type of things happen. But I wanted to actually do a video really breaking it down and going through all those things and everything. But a lot of LDBC channels have got that covered. And I ran across a video that I had ran across a few years back, about 2014 or so. So this video was about around 2012, 2014. And it was very interesting, and it's very telling for today, because I think the events that has been taking place since that time have only come to validate this video. And it's a video with these Fourth Reich members. And this lady is interviewing them about future plans and things like that, and what they know about it, and what they've heard, and rumors and such, and all those type of things. And the guys are very open with it. They're not really shy about telling you what they heard or anything like that. And they're pretty straight up with it. And they're talking about, they also give you a little history of it, to let you know this has been existing for quite some time, before I was born. So this is not something that just came about now. And for people like this idiot Polly Malignaggi or whatever that's out here talking about racism is invented and all of this madness, and and he knows better. Growing up in Bensonhurst, one of the most racist damn places on in New York. Everybody remember what happened to Yusef Hawkins there. They speak of a race war, but not even just the fact that they're talking about a race war, but they're talking about instigating one by provoking us. These things that's been going on to stir up anger in us and everything, and because that's human to respond likewise. But while we're all at work and we're trying to live our lives and get along in our day to day, you have people who don't do nothing but plot this shit all day, and been going for years, man. They perfected it, just like the FBI finally had to come out and admit that a lot of these white supremacists from whatever group or affiliation that you want, because there are many of them out there. It's not just a singular thing. It ain't just a clan. It's a whole lot of them out there. Like I say, these guys are Fourth Reich members, going back to some Nazi type of thing. But they're all organized, and they've been planning. They've infiltrated law enforcement all the way up to judges and stuff, So they got people in high positions. That's why things keep falling in their favor when they do certain things, And the FBI had to come out and finally admit that those things have been infiltrated, but I don't think they've done anything about it. But they did come out and admit it. They finally labeled the Klan as a terrorist organization. But there's so many of them that they find their way out of things. But it's just a short video. It's only 8 minutes long, but I implore you to please watch it and listen to what the guys have to say, because it has a lot of important information that is useful to anyone out here, But the main target of this thing is let the world know that we've been targeted first, above all people on this earth. Us, Black Americans. Well, I shouldn't say black, because when you say black, it's really saying death. So don't ever call yourself black. I prefer the term Nubian. It's something to hear, man. But this is the type of thing that we live through every day and what we go through in this country. And worldwide, they have worldwide plans of doing things to us here and abroad. They tell you, they go into detail about some of their plans for Africa in the future. Even comes a point where the woman says, I heard that we gave Africa, they gave Africa. You see what I'm saying? This is the perception that these people are coming from. And they're very real about this. This is not no fantasy. And, not every white person is a part of this, but it exists nonetheless. And every time something happens in society and we want to let the world know this is racism, the world is quick to tell us to slow down, calm down. Let's let all the facts come out. let's this and that. It's like we can't use a race card. That's a term that they invented anyway to make it dismissive because they want to take it out of our hands. But the moment that we can't fight against racism, then, hey, it's shackles and chains again. That's where they want us anyway. So be wise and be smart, but please take a listen at this, especially everybody in the LDBC. Man, these guys are real, man. They for real about what they're talking about. So we're gonna have to get up, stand up, and come together, man. Stop all this foolishness that we got going on among ourselves. It's time for black to love black again. Look out for one another. It's not the detriment to say that we got to be racist to other people, but we have to take care of self first. And if we not take care of self-preservation, then tomorrow doesn't matter because there won't be a tomorrow. So please just give it a little 8 minutes and listen to this. Listen to everything that they say. I'm going to try to highlight as much as I can the points that they're making so that, if you have a problem hearing certain words or whatever, I'm trying to highlight that for you so you understand that that's what they're mentioning, that's what they're talking about, so you can follow it a little bit more legibly. So all I got to say, man, it'll make you feel some type of way, but hey, we need to feel some type of way in this day. We can't be walking around here lollygagging thinking everything is okay because it's not. People is after us. They've always been after us for centuries, and it ain't going to ever stop. The only way the change is going to come is when we come together. You understand? So we got to do this. If not for ourselves, for the next generation. As you can see, we got so much that's wrong with our youth now that's been corrupted by the outside influences. You got the gay epidemic that's just went crazy. If somebody say something about gay, the system is quick to come with retribution about that. But if you say race, we got to slow down. We got to consider all the facts. We don't want to jump to any conclusions. You understand? And one interesting thing about our brother Ahmaud Arbery's execution was the fact that the authorities had all these films for over a couple of months. They looked at that stuff. It's 2 months before the first video comes out. Then it comes out. Then suddenly right behind that, here comes this other video. He was in the house. He was walking around. You understand? So they're controlling it. Then they try to put certain things out and put something out later to try to make it look differently. Because they had the police look at it and the detectives go through it. They went through all that. They just didn't arrest nobody, That's the number one thing of warfare nowadays. That's why the internet is so important, and it was created by the military, because information is number one nowadays. It's the information age, But that's like I said, I didn't want to go too much into all that, but I do want you to see this video and understand this problem from the root. And for people that's walking around here talking about racism doesn't exist and it's a figment of imagination and you want to be so detached from reality, well, here's a motherfucking reality check for your motherfucking ass. So take a look at this and please comment below your thoughts and opinions on this matter. And share it with whoever you like. But, word need to goes out about this. And, that's the only way we're going to make tomorrow better. We got a right to be here just like everybody else. And if we got to fight to be here, then so be it. Got to do what we got to do. But like I say, shout out to the LDBC, all my people worldwide, wherever you may be. If you have melanin in your body, you my brother regardless, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. That's the way the opposition sees us. So, yeah, man, check this video out. Salute. Black Star Sports TV.
The split you're making, because I do see what you're talking about, but I get a feeling that at times they're working together. So it's really confusing. But what I'm asking is, in essence, is how do you tell who the good guys are, from your point of view?
Okay, well,
what I would consider a good guy is not who you would consider.
True. In essence, the super soldiers are bred to kill, so there's always an enemy.
But
there always has to be an enemy. The enemy. Okay, well, the enemy now is they're instigating a race war in America, and that's they're socially engineering it for a race war against blacks and whites because they're trying to reduce the population, so they're targeting blacks in America as the first group, and it's an extension of what was going on in Africa with depopulating the blacks in Africa with engineered AIDS and things like that. So they're engineering social situations in America now, and then that group is being currently targeted, you know, the blacks in America, and there's a lot of race issues being brought into the media, like Obama is talking about, let's talk about race. In the media, a lot of things are focusing on race to get people's mindsets geared up for that. And it's, I mean, in essence, it's a continuation of social engineering programs from Haight-Ashbury in the 60s in San Francisco. You know, the Manson family, the Charles Manson murders, and he was programmed at China Lake for that, for the social engineering. Charles Manson was talking about Helter Skelter, and which was a race war, an apocalyptic race war in America between blacks and whites.
With the Beatles triggering
yeah, and
music.
the Beatles triggered that, the Helter Skelter song, and then that was the Manson murders were supposed to trigger that, and that was, you know, the Helter Skelter race war was supposed to start in Haight-Ashbury, the hippie colony in San Francisco.
At the moment, I mean, that actually sounds sort of passé in a sense. It doesn't. Of course, I live in LA, and it just doesn't seem realistic at this time, from my point of view. That doesn't seem like it's going to fly.
But you know, they've often tried to, with the Fourth Reich being based on the West Coast, they tried to trigger this helter-skelter apocalyptic race war in California with the LA riots. They tried to do it again, and they're going to keep trying to do it until all hell breaks loose between blacks and whites in America. Because you know, to get back to the question, you said who's the current enemy? Well, the black race is being targeted currently in America. The Afro-Americans.
Okay, but doesn't that seem like sort of an counterintuitive if the president is at least partially black?
But what does he consider himself? He's half black, half white, so is he loyal to the whites or is he loyal to the blacks? I'd say he's loyal to the whites, to the Rothschild.
And also, how easy would it be to trigger a race war if it was set up that a clone version of him was shot by a white supremacist? Then that would immediately trigger an uprising.
That would be a perfect scenario.
Right.
They're going to keep socially, the Fourth Reich essentially is going to keep socially engineering these situations, you know, like the Helter Skelter, the Manson in the 60s, the LA riots. Things will keep happening because they want to reduce the population, so they need to start with target groups.
Okay, and what about the notion that they're going to do it with things like earth changes and with causing, with the chemtrails, and basically they're killing people in essence with the radiation, chemtrails, and disease. There's a lot of thought that they maybe want to spread disease. And then even I've heard that there will be some bombings in prime cities here in the U.S. Have you heard any of that?
Well, I mean, that stuff's obviously going on every month now, the terrorist acts. And it's all orchestrated.
Well, actually, what I meant by that was something a lot bigger than what happened in Boston.
Well, back in Africa, I was friends with some SAS guys who were Rhodesian infantry people before they were involved with the SAS. They talked about bioengineered race weapons in Africa, put in the wells, which would only kill the blacks and wouldn't affect the whites. So there'll be, that sort of things, the chemtrails, bioengineered race weapons.
Okay, well, let me throw something a bit strange out at you. I recently heard that there was that we gave away Africa to a group of an incoming race of beings. Have you heard about that?
I've heard different things to do with Africa and the direction of Africa in the future. I've heard there's social engineering programs where they're trying to encourage African Americans to go back to Africa and give them property and housing back there. And there's one really big one. It was even in the mainstream media. I forget what it was called now. But there's this big movement to get the blacks back to Africa, and I don't know if they're
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I mean, I forget the name of this thing now. They were going to give them property and tax rebates and things like that, because there was even the Muslim movement, even the blacks themselves in their own community. There's a big movement to say we don't really belong in America. We should go back to our homeland. And a lot of Africans who I talk to say that themselves. They say, I've never felt welcome here. I'd love to go back to Africa. I'd love to go back to my roots. There's definitely movements to kind of trigger that. So I'm not sure. I mean, I've heard they're going to try and get them back there and nuke Africa. I've heard they're going to try and get them back there and then sell them to incoming extraterrestrial races. So it could be connected to what you mentioned.
Okay, so, but in your positions, like it's sort of as super soldiers, for lack of a better terminology, do they don't let you in on the big picture, they don't sit around and have discussions with you, I assume, right?
Yeah, they do.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay, so they let you in on some of the plans, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about you?
That's for sure. From the beginning, from when I was a child, they explained how it was going to happen.
They do.
I think that was some input from my consciousness and how it was going to happen too.
Okay. Okay. I could be asking you questions all night, but just to wrap this up, and I want to thank both of you for taking the time. When you look at America, you have been told there is going to be a scenario where there's a financial meltdown, and then sort of riots in the streets, and then an implication of what do they call that, martial law, and of a scenario. Have you seen it? Been told about a scenario that works in that direction?
I've just been told the current scenario is this whole race war thing. That's the current thing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know whether they'll change it to something else, but that's the plan at the moment.
From what I know, that what Michael's saying is right, but that would also lead to when the race war happens, it will lead to some form of martial law, and that's what they're essentially wanting to do.